In the latest main games that Zune has created for the Touhou series, the theme they always followed was the one of player customization. Touhou 15 gave us the choice of playing with either point device or legacy mode, enhancing the replayability, accessibility, and the memorization of enemy patterns. Touhou 16 gave us different seasons to work with so they could compensate for a character's lack of control or power and give a different approach to the game's level design overall. Touhou 17 brought a mechanic back from UFO, but instead of focusing on lives, bombs, and score, it transformed into a tool to power up your weapons, whether they were your focused shot, unfocused shot, or bombs. And bringing us back to present time, Touhou 18 introduced us to ability cards. Ability cards are tools that will give different effects whenever obtained, as they are separated into 3 categories: items, equipment, and passive. The first one will grant you an ability that can be used with the C key, much like a lot of older mechanics. However, the effect will differ depending on the card. Some of them are returning tricks like Yukari's Gap, which allows you to wrap around the screen, while others like Tenchi's Keystone, which protects you from incoming bullets, are brand new. The second category works a bit like Touhou 16 Seasons, as they provide you additional sources of power depending on the card. The Yin Yang Orb gives a single homing shot, Chirena's card grants an ice sprinkler, and Alice's Doll showers enemies with bullets at close range. And finally, the third category grants a passive effect that will trigger whenever the condition is met. Some of them work from the get-go, like Byakuren's Scroll giving you a stronger bomb, while others like Alien's Potion only activate whenever you get hit, for example. You get to start a game with 2 cards, but you will get some more at the end of a stage by buying one directly from the boss you just defeated. On top of that, they can also sell you lives, bombs, power, and in an ironic way, they can also simply give you money. And now that we're done explaining the mechanics, you may be wondering what I think about it. Clearly, this mechanic has enormous potential for both good and bad. The demo didn't lay all of its cards on the table, with about half of them being available to us, so it's still possible for some combinations to be outright broken in the right hands. But on the other hand, the system in itself is extremely fun, as this makes Unconnected Marketeers the most flexible game of the series in terms of mechanics yet. Some abilities are recycled for sure, but I didn't really mind as much, since this is pretty much the purpose of those cards in the first place. One thing is sure though, it allows for more freedom in terms of how the game can be played, and unlike other games, the mechanic isn't mandatory, as you can play without it by selecting no card. So I still think it's a good idea since it gives a purpose to points outside of simply being used for the sake of score. And since you can now buy those cards with your current power if you do not have enough money, it adds an element of risk versus reward. And I like this a lot. Danmaku is all about risk in the first place, and this allows the game to compensate for the unmodified shot types of the playable characters. Unless you're playing Sakuya, she's all kind of quirky in that game. But what about you? What do you think about the new mechanic? While you make up your mind, I'll continue playing the demo and wait for the full version. So have a good day everyone, and have fun with the new characters, music, and game.